Alright folks, John Rush here today from Drive Radio. My son Richard Rush is behind the camera, and we're going to review the 2016, this is not the new 2017 Ram Power Wagon, this is the 2016 model. When we get to the 2017 we'll review that, but they are not out yet. So for now, this is the 2016 Ram Power Wagon, and what's new for 2016 versus 2015 or even 2014 for that matter? Not a lot. As we walk around the front of the truck, we'll go through some of the changes they've made for 2016. They've done some headlight changes in the 2016 model year. Not a lot of physical changes for the truck itself. You can look on the website and see all the differences between 2015 and 2016, but there's really not a lot of changes. For us though, we were not able to get into the 2015 model year truck and actually get behind the wheel and drive it. So this is really the first time we've had a full week behind the wheel of the Ram Power Wagon. So some of you are going to say, what's different about Power Wagon? Richard was just up front a moment ago showing you the 12,000 pound winch that comes standard on Power Wagon. This is a 3/4 ton series truck, so it's a 2500 series truck, front and rear locking differentials. It's got a transfer case that shifts only off of a manual shifter in the dash. It will show you, or down on the console, we'll show you a little bit later in the review. There is no electronic shift on this particular truck. All right, let's go through some of the details of this truck. This truck as it sits, this exact truck, 57,000, I've got the sticker in front of me, 57,480. That includes a luxury group of $695, rubber floor mats of $80, the high mount stop lamp in the back, the cargo lamp, $325. The complete Uconnect 8.4 inch screen nav system is $1,000. The park assist for the rear backup camera, $200. The park sensors for the rear, $395. The remote starts, another $200. The Ram box, which we'll get into in just a minute, is $1,300 with the spray and bed liner of around $500, $475. Destination charges are $1,200 on this truck. Again, gives you the total price of $57,480. Now, some of you are going to say, who is this truck for? What is it for? What does it compete with? Richard was just asking me that actually before we started the video. What does this truck compete with? Frankly, nothing. Nothing. Some of you are going to say, well, yeah, the Tundra TRD or the Rebel or whatever, or the Ford Raptor. No, this is a 3/4 ton 2500 series truck. There's no other 2500 3/4 ton series truck in the market that has locking front and rear diffs, a higher suspension system on it, off-road tires, and a 12,000 pound winch built into it. Nothing else is out there. So some of you are going to say, well, yeah, a lot of other trucks compete with it. Well, no, as a matter of fact, they don't. So let's get into the rest of the truck as we go down the side. One of the things you'll notice is some of the cool trim package they've got, some of the stickering or the lettering down the side. What I will tell you is, if you don't like the lettering down the side, and it's not for everybody, I'm guessing that Richard, the younger generation, probably likes the look of this. Personally, I hate it. The first thing I would do if I own this truck is either order it with the delete, which you can do. You can delete all these stickers off, or I'd get the heat gun out and take all those off because I just don't like that look to it. So that's just me personally. A lot of you out there may have a difference of opinion on that. You notice the off-road tires, and I apologize, this truck's got a fair amount of miles on them. These tires are about half worn down already, and you can tell that you're not going to get the mileage out of a set of these Goodyear Wrangler off-road tires that you're going to get with a regular set of all-terrains and so on. But you'll get better off-road capability and in mud, snow, things like that with this particular tire than you will with a regular radial type mud and snow. And I can actually attest to that because I've got the mega cab version of a 1-ton in this Ram series truck, not the 3/4 ton, but the 3500 series, which we'll do a review on a little bit later. I've got the Cummins and some other things in that particular truck. One of the first things I did, took off the factory mud and snow tires that were on it, all seasons that were on it, and I put on a good set of Toyo off-road mud and snow tires. Again, I'll get into that when I do that review. So some of you are going to ask, John, why didn't you buy this truck over the mega cab with the Cummins? Frankly, because of the Cummins. You cannot, despite what a lot of people think, you cannot get the Power Wagon with the Cummins engine. It's going to come with a 6.4 liter engine, 410 horsepower, 429 foot-pounds of torque. I averaged about 13, between Richard and I, around 13 miles to the gallon. You'll see anybody out there on reviews averaging anywhere from 10 to 13. At best, you may get 14 miles to the gallon out on the open road with this. You're not buying this truck for fuel economy. You're buying it for the winch in the front, the locking front and rear diffs, the Ram box, which I tell you what, while we're here, let's just get into it. Richard, let's just show them the Ram box. So, as you open up the side The Ram box is a cool feature. We've done this in some of the trucks in the past. I did not buy the Ram box. I'll tell you why in just one second. It is a cool feature. It gives you the ability to buy accessories where you can put all sorts of things in the side of the truck. Everything from shotgun racks to fishing rod holders to tool storage. You name it, it's all in here. And the cool thing about it, and the key fob's in the truck, but the cool thing about it, this all locks and unlocks when you unlock the truck. A very, very cool feature. That also includes the tailgate. Now, one thing this truck does not have, and I'll just get right into it, there is no easy drop tailgate. We've talked about that with Ram in the past. We've talked to some of the engineers at Ram. Basically, I'm not sure you're going to see Ram with an easy lift lowering tailgate. Their feeling is the mechanism and such that goes back in here that actually makes that work. They're afraid for people that really use a truck hard, dirt, gravel, cement, things like that, can actually get in and damage that mechanism and create problems where the tailgate won't even open and shut at that point. That's why Ram does not put an easy lift tailgate on their vehicles at this point in time. So as we come into the back though, you'll notice what the Ram box does. And it's kind of hard to see this maybe in the camera, but you'll notice there's no wheel wells in here, so you lose some interior bed space. Still wide enough where you can actually put a 4-foot wide piece of plywood in here, but you'll notice you lose some space with the Ram box being in here. And personally, the other reason why I didn't buy the Ram box for myself is with the mega cab, I ended up with enough extra room in there. I just didn't need the Ram box at that point. All right, one other thing I need to mention too that Richard was just noting, we stopped the video for just a second, is this particular truck. So the Power Wagon comes crew cab, short box only. You cannot get a long box version of this truck. It is a crew cab, short box only. You can delete the Ram box if you want. You don't have to buy the Ram box. And as we talked about earlier, you don't have to buy the decals. If you do a decal delete, there's no cost to that, but you're probably gonna have to special order that because most dealers are ordering these with the stickers on the side. One other cool thing you'll notice when you do the Ram box though that they give you is you've got the option to actually buy the gate extender. So what that does, it hooks onto here, folds back to the back, gives you the ability to store more things on it. The downside is you've got to keep your tailgate down, and I would suggest if you're one of those guys that's going to do that, you put some sort of a protective coating over the tailgate, or the rocks and such flipping up will get the tailgate all dinged up, scratched, etc., pitted, and so on. You do have the nice tie downs in this particular truck, which I do like. Gives the ability to adjust where your tie down slots are at. Works out really well. And you'll also notice the lights here and the extra light that I talked about earlier. Richard's shining in on right now with the sliding back window. So I tell you what, let me pop the tailgate up. Let's just hop into the back seat. I'm not going to get into a lot of the details of the interior because we've done enough Ram trucks in the past where the interior is not a lot different. This particular vehicle, you'll notice, one thing I should mention though real quick, you cannot get a Power Wagon with leather interior. It's going to come cloth only. There's 3 different trim levels you can do on Power Wagon, and I should have mentioned this earlier. If you want to buy a bare bones Power Wagon, no Ram box, none of the extra frills, $48,000 and some change. So you can buy this truck for under 50 grand. Let me hop in the back here though real quick, and you'll notice on all the Rams they do have ample seating in the back. This seat is all the way back. It won't come back any further. I've still got plenty of leg room, plenty of headroom. There is an optional, or I shouldn't say optional, but there is a standard fold down center, cup holders console here in the back that works out great. One of the features as Richard gets going here, I'll show you in just one second. In fact, let me climb out here real fast so we can show you this. One of the cool things about Ram that I do like, just flip the mat back a little bit, and they do have these built-in storage compartments that I do like. In fact, my mega cab does not have those. I wish it did, but I've got all the room behind the back seat, so it's not a big factor. The other cool thing I like about Dodge, or Ram I should say, sorry I shouldn't say Dodge, is the way they do the back seat. So you can actually fold this down nice and flat. This actually gives you nice flat storage compartments along with 2 cup holders that are there. Or you can flip this up. There's a little holder here. Flip it up and you've got storage inside where you can actually store things, which you can see they've got the receiver hitch slip in. This truck, speaking of towing, and we went over this a little earlier, because the way this particular truck is equipped, 10,030 pounds towing capacity is all this truck does, partially because of the short box, the Ram box, the winch, some of those different things, and a max payload is only 1,510 pounds. Now, is that all the truck will haul? I don't know. I can't say. I'm just going with the specs of what Ram is giving us. Let me hop around to the front seat and then we'll go take a drive here in just a second. All right, folks, and I apologize for the lighting. We're early Colorado morning here, just the way sometimes things work out for us. And I know a lot of you make comments on you need to do this, you need to brighten this up. We are not professional videographers, You know, my son and I both, we're just car guys. I've got a radio show. We do this to help you guys out with the reviews. At some point, we'll continue to add to our repertoire of camera gear and so on, and maybe get to the point where we've got extra lighting and all of that. But for right now, we do this as cheaply as we possibly can. Try to do it for you also, you're informed. Getting into the interior of the front of this 2016 Ram Power Wagon, you will notice I talked earlier, there is no center console. You cannot do the bucket seats with the center console in this truck, partially because of the manual shifter here. It's the only way they will do this truck. So you can't do leather, you can only do the cloth seats. That's not a bad thing. You end up with extra cup holders. You've got 3 here, 2, actually 3 and 3, you have 6, plus what's in the door pockets. There's another 2 there. You've got storage up on top of the console, which in this case, there's actually the winch control unit is in here. There's a USB port. There's another power port in here. You can actually flip this up into another full seat with seat belts where you can actually put a person in here. They've got to straddle the console, of course, when you do that. Or you've got additional console underneath here, which again, the console layout on this is actually one of the best in the industry, I think. They do a really, really nice job on this. Dual glove compartments over here, the big nav screen in the middle, and the rest of the controls will go over here in just a minute as we get into the driving portion, and I'll walk you through that. But that's pretty much the standard interior you're going to find on Power Wagon. I'll put Richard in the back and we'll go for a quick drive. All right, folks, now in the driver's seat, we're going to take a quick drive, and I'll give you my opinion, I should say our opinion, of the 2016 Power Wagon. Few things that we'll go through in the console. So this one does not have dual climate control. It's a single climate control only. Not a big deal killer. You've got another 110 volt power port over here. Your sway bar disconnects are here. Locking diffs are here. Transfer case shift, as I said earlier, is down below. Another power port to your left. Standard steering wheel controls. Again, not going to get into all of that because we've done that previously on other Ram models. You can literally look at everything going on inside of the truck based off of what you're doing with the steering wheel. Volume controls, tune selector, all of that is over here. Up and down as far as your tow mode, if you want to manually shift, that's all on the shifter itself. Automatic lights are on the left hand side. One of the cool features though that it does have is I can hit rear cam, and right now I can just look and see where am I headed. I'm not even in reverse at this point, but I can still see where I'm going. Or if I want to check cargo as I'm going down the road, this particular model has the optional camera. I can look at what's going on in the bed of the truck, which you can do while you're driving down the road, which is a cool feature. If you want to say, wow, did my load shift? Is something going on there? You hit that camera, you can check even while you're going down the road. I'm going to go back to the backup, and you'll see it does have dynamic grid lines, so they do turn according to where you're going to be going, which is really a cool aid when you're hooking up a trailer, doing something along those lines. That part I really, really like. It's a great feature. I use it on my truck all the time. It works really great. Eliminates having to have 2 people, or the old get out, see how close you are to the tongue, all those different things, which a lot of us that have towed for a long number of years have done. It just makes things that much easier. Your other controls down below here are your park assist. You can turn on and off, hill descent control, and your tow haul mode, and your anti-spin in the 4-wheel, or literally 2-wheel 4-wheel drive. You got your anti-spin, which those of us that plow snow, that's one of the first things you turn off when you go to plow snow. Just a side note. Let's take a quick drive. One of the negatives of this truck, both Richard and I commented on. 6.4 Hemi, 410 horsepower, but the exhaust sounds like it's got nothing underneath the hood. Ram, I really wish we'd put a little bit more noise into the exhaust. Some of you are going to say, ah, you're crazy. I like it nice and quiet. I personally like a little rumble. Going to drive a Power Wagon. You want people to know what you're driving. You've got all these stickers and everything all over the truck. I want people to know I'm driving a Power Wagon, so I want a little more exhaust. One of the first things I would do if I owned this truck is I would change the exhaust out and make it louder. Downside to this truck, I talked earlier, 12, 13 miles to the gallon. I'll let you hear how quiet the interior is, because it does have a fairly quiet interior even with these off-road tires on it. One of the other things they've done to make this truck not necessarily more quiet but ride better is the coil suspension in the back. So there's no leaf springs in the back, it's coil suspension. It makes the truck ride that much smoother, and I will tell you this truck, 3/4 ton, even as heavy as it is with the additional suspension on it compared to my 3500, vast difference. This truck is much, much smoother than what my 3500 is. Just something to make a note of. The more you go up in towing capacity and so on, the rougher the ride is going to get. It's just one of those things that happens automatically. So, what do I think of the Power Wagon overall? I think you can tell just from, and I'll pull over and do this. I think you can tell Richard and I's opinion on this. It's a truck I like. In fact, as a truck, I really, really thoughtfully considered buying. When I bought my Ram Mega Cab with the Cummins in it. I really looked hard at this particular truck. In fact, I even had it figured out to where I could mount my snowplow on the front around the winch assembly. I'd done all of that. I'd figured out how I could do all of that. What it really came down for me was I wanted the Cummins engine. I wanted the Cummins with the Asen transmission. I wanted the heavier transmission for plowing snow. I love the Mega Cab and the fact that it's got extra room behind that back seat that Richard's sitting in now. And for me, that was sort of the deal killer. So I spent more money, but I wanted the Mega Cab and I wanted the diesel. And you know, I can get anywhere from 16, 18 miles to the gallon in my diesel. It's not even fully broke in yet. The best I'm going to get in this truck is around 13 miles to the gallon. Price of fuel right now, not a real big issue. One of the other negatives I think this truck has is I wish it had a little bit better fuel economy. I think 13 is pretty low. Again, you got to look at the truck and what you're going to be doing with it. Take all those things in consideration, determine if this is a truck for you. So if it is, go out, test drive this truck. There's plenty of these on the dealer lots, and guess what? You'll probably be able to get a really good buy on a 2016 before the 2017s come out. And if you're not looking for all the new upgrades on the 2017, this may be the truck for you. Go check it out at your local Ram dealer. Tell them John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you.